Is it faithless to pray without expecting God to answer with a yes? Well, if it is faithless to pray that way, I certainly have prayed that prayer a lot. Of course, that doesn't answer the question, but it is a matter of a self disclosure here that I do not pray with the confidence that the very thing I pray for will be the thing that God gives me. And the reason that I don't pray that way is I have no guarantee that God is going to answer the request I offered. And in fact, it's probably, in many cases, a good thing that He didn't. There certainly is a virtue in certain cases of having such a full-bodied trust that God will act that it kind of consumes your prayer. So I'm not rejecting that. Some people have the faith to pray that way. The real question is, what happens when you don't have that kind of faith? When you're faced with a problem and you're not sure whether God is going to respond, is it faithless and therefore wrong, sinful, because there's no faith in it, I guess you could argue, to pray that way? And my answer is I don't think it is. And sometimes I think to think otherwise might be an example of presumption. God knows best. I don't know best. It may be that what I'm requesting is the right thing, but I'm not sure. Which is one reason I go to God with my request, because I trust in His wisdom that He will decide what's best for me. And if His decision is to say no to the thing I asked for, then I'm going to trust that that's the best thing. So in my prayers, I try to pray as believing a prayer as possible, but my belief is rooted principally in the conviction that God is able to do anything. He's able to answer these prayers. Whether He is willing, based on His wisdom, is another thing entirely. And that's His business, not mine. I think we should readily take our concerns, all of them, to God and ask God to work, and not just throughout this prayer, whatever your will is to do, because to me that's a bit of an empty prayer. Do whatever you want to. No, I think we should ask God specifically for what we want from Him, but then have the attitude that if God wills otherwise, we will submit to that. And then we leave it open for Him to decide what's good for us. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that kind of prayer.